No, don't even, no, seriously, the guy could fuck you up. So.
You know, it's something I've been doing since I was 9 years old, and you know, we do teach the combatives to the military, so it was a wonderful opportunity to go over there and train with the troops. It was just killer, you know, to meet the guys and get an opportunity to roll around with them. So it was a wonderful experience. But it's a very big part of my life.
Hey, in your career, you've played a lot of characters, a lot of roles. But what is a role or a character that you really would like to play? And if they offered it to you, you would be like, yeah, I want that.
I don't know, something like Willy Wonka or something. I don't know. I would say a Western, but I'm terrified of horses, so that wouldn't work. Maybe like...
Terrified of horses.
Yeah, I'm kind of a wuss. God, I don't know. I mean, playing bad guys are really fun, but I think I've killed somebody in everything I've ever done, you know? I don't know, maybe I'll play Jesus.
I would like to see that, yeah.
You know, I mean, bad guys are always more fun, believe it or not, than the good guys. But as to separate it from a character, it's not like some character like, do you want to play the president or do you want to play Willy Wonka? It's about the writing. You know, it could be Willy Wonka, but it could be shit writing, so you don't want to play it. It's not about playing Batman, it's about playing Batman that's written amazingly. You know, so it's really not about the character, it's about how that character comes to life, and when you read it, if it speaks to you. You know, there's not like just one name, like I want to play FDR, it's I want to play him in this situation articulated by this writer, you know?
Okay, yeah.
There's just so many variables that go into it that it makes it a complex answer. Who's next?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, my question is for Norman regarding Walking Dead. I'm sorry. What made you accept the role of Daryl, and also were you familiar with the comics before the television series?
Frank Darabont says, hey, pick up that newspaper, and you go, fuck yeah.
I didn't know the comics before, but there's this thing called pilot season, and it's in Los Angeles. I live in New York, but I flew to Los Angeles to do pilot season. It's where every Ponce actor on the planet goes and sees what good television there is. But it was lawyer script, Dr. Buddy script, and then Walking Dead. And I read that and I was like, it stood out as being an amazing project. And then I saw the list of names that were attached, and it was Frank Darabont and Gail Ann Hurd and Greg Nicotero, and I just thought this is a no-brainer, you know. And then can I get in on it? And they had me come in and read Merle's lines, but I heard Merle was already cast, so I didn't quite know what I was doing, but I wasn't gonna not do it. And then I came home, and by the time I got home, I heard Frank wanted to see me read something and saw me read Merle and wrote that part for me. So, of course, you know. But I didn't know the comic book before, and I started reading the comic book after, but it's kind of its own animal right now, you know. Like Andy Lincoln is Rick Grimes to me, and he's so good as Rick Grimes, and so I kind of don't want to know what's gonna happen, you know, so I don't really read it. Is that right? Did I answer everything? I kind of went on a ramble.
You know, there's so many amazing people. You know, Norman and I have had careers out of doing obscure movies that a lot of people don't get to see. You know, I mean, you guys know Boondock Saints, but I know he's done some films that he's really proud of that you guys have never seen. I've done some films that I'm really proud of you guys have never seen. I've also done some films I hope you guys never see that are piles of shit. But, you know, I mean, when it's not like we don't have like huge names like Tom Cruise or whatnot. So like a guy like Frank Darabont, Nicotero, those guys, if they're doing something, holy shit, that's a big deal, you know? I mean, it's a huge deal. I remember when Norman told me, he goes, so I'm doing this walk, I'm like, oh, brother, it's gonna be fucking huge, man. Hey, it's Walking Dead, it's a huge comic. And those guys involved, that's like a no-brainer. You know, that's like when Spielberg calls, you just say yes. You don't even ask to read the script. You go, what time do you want me to show up, you know? It's kind of like that. It's a great, great project to be a part of. Regardless of where you're at in your career, that's a huge deal. Walking Dead's a killer project.
Hi. And Boondock Saints too. There's a a nice line like "Ding dong, motherfucker, ding dong." Did it really take a long time to go up with, or did you guys get a pitch in that?
Actually, it was written. It was written as a couple things, and we bounced a couple things around. Yeah, there was a lot on Boondock. There's a lot of stuff that's written on the day, you know. It was a whoop ass fajita. It was whoop ass fajita, and then and it was all kinds of things. That like some of them, I'm not kidding you, were so stupid. We just laughed because of the stupidity. And then you know, ding dong motherfucker. That was like one of 80 takes that we all made.
I remember that. Who ordered the whoop ass fajitas? We were like, that's so stupid, right? And then he had Cliffy do it like, and then Cliff was like, was that fucking stupid? Like, was that retarded? We're like, a little bit. Yeah.
Fucking whoop ass fajitas.
A compound question. In Los Angeles, there's quite a lot of martial arts schools where stuntmen go or actors go in order to learn something about whatever fight scene they're involved in. When I have a workshop, for example, I know Cifolino Santo has his academy not too far.
El Segundo.
There you go. I've never been in a workshop where he actually took heed of any techniques you might be needing in film or on TV. So when you're practicing martial arts, or when you're maybe not practicing martial arts fully or full time, but you have to think about the fight scene, is it difficult to separate the techniques you have to use on television or in a film from the actual real techniques you would be using normally? And do you keep that in the back of your mind anyway?
Yeah, I'll give you the short answer. Everything is different. What works in the real world has nothing to do with what you see on television. For example, if I wanted to punch Norman, it would be from this range, and it would go so quick and so close that you wouldn't see it. But on camera, you want to see somebody cock and make a big swing, and nothing you see on TV is how a fight happens. Fights last 4 seconds and they're over. There's no 50-second, a guy takes 86 punches to the face, no bruising, no. First of all, a lot of people think that you could just box with bare gloves. You'll break your fingers in your hand. It's just like hitting a concrete wall. How many times do you think you could slug a concrete wall without breaking your hand? Once. You can't really connect on the human face 50 times without shattering your hand. It just doesn't happen. So there's really nothing the same in a real world fight and what you see on TV. You have to telegraph everything. And part of martial arts on TV is not actually throwing a punch. It's knowing how to accept a punch. Like, it's not the magic of knowing how to throw it, but whenever I punch Norman, to make it believable, it's how he receives it. Boom, and head goes back, and so it's a choreographed orchestration that has nothing to do with real-world fighting skill at all. But good question.
Who wants the next one? The last
Yes, ma'am.
It's a question for Norman, sorry. But what about the part of Daryl Dixon do you like most? I mean, there's the crossbow, there's the motorcycle.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you know.
Fucking coolest character on TV.
I mean, you know, it's. I have a lot of cool toys on this show. Those were all Frank's ideas, the crossbow and the wings on the vest and the bike and all. But I think the things I like about him the most are the things that I'm kind of discovering about him. You know, he's like, I know after Cherokee Rose, that episode, a lot of girls liked Daryl, you know, but it's interesting for me because, you know, like I was saying before, you get to, like, from movies you go here to here, but in TV you kind of move like this and you drop little seeds and you hope that they turn into trees and stuff. And when people are paying attention and the writers are paying attention, those little seeds that are trees become storylines. Like when Carol, after Andrea shoots him in the head, which she got death threats after that, by the way, which is kind of cool. But Carol says, "You're just as good as everybody else," and she leans down to kiss him on the forehead. I flinched, like don't hit me. and that wasn't in the script. But now there's a storyline that I'm an abused child. So all these things that I'm kind of discovering that I can do with him are starting to become my favorite parts. I mean, you could just stand there with the crossbow and look cool. My mom would look cool holding the crossbow. But it's these little things that I'm getting to do with him that I'm really starting to like him a lot. He's kind of like a little kid in a lot of ways. You know, I always sort of describe him as like a wet dog in an alley, you know, and it's raining, and you go to pet the dog and he'll snap at you. But if you feed him and get him inside, he'll just follow you forever. So he's kind of got this little thing about him. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I like about Daryl, to be honest.
Who's ready for the final question?
My question is for both of you. Would you like to direct something? I know you two are doing short movies, but would you like to do something like an episode of a series, or to go from actor to director?
I don't know that I'd want to direct one of the Walking Dead episodes. I don't know that I could do Daryl unless I wasn't in it. You know, then maybe I could. But I have a bunch of scripts that I've been working on that are feature-length scripts, and every time I get them to a certain point, people read them and they're like, they're too weird to make this movie, and you know, we're never going to cast somebody as, you know, some tranny who is like 6'4" and 400 pounds that's going to, like, you know, have sex with 12 people. It's like, I like to do more artsy projects that don't really have to be sold to somebody, or somebody has to put all their money into it, and we have to sell it to different regions, and we have to take out the cuss words. Like, I'd rather direct things that are just more, you know, art pieces, basically. So I have this website called Big Bald Head, and I sell downloadable short films I wrote and directed and edited for just charity. Like, I never see a dollar of any of that money. It just goes to various charities. So I like art projects. I've always done art projects, and then this seems more like a fun job. But the other stuff, like, you know, I made a life-size sculpture out of myself out of 8-pound polyurethane foam and filled it full of rats in a big plexiglass box. Yeah, I like doing shit like that on my downtime. You know, I didn't even answer a fucking question, did I?
I got a couple of projects. One project, one's called Sunshine Superman, that I've actually set it up a number of times. I've sold the project a number of times, but that's how Hollywood is. Now I have the rights back, so I'm trying to get off the ground. But it looks like I have another project that I'm going to get off the ground even sooner than that. It's called the Untitled Mickey Kelly Project, and it's something I've been developing for a couple of years, and it's just now reached fruition. So that's in the future. And thanks very much, guys, for showing up. It's truly an honor to have, you know, a few hundred people gather around just to ask you questions about your career. Certainly, you guys wouldn't do this if we were digging ditches. So we do know how lucky we are, you know, to have jobs like this. And thank you guys for being fans of the stupid things that we do. We love it. We appreciate you guys. So God bless you guys. Thanks for everything.
The Boondock Saints!